Well, hello. I am Cheryl from JJ Bean Designs, and I am live tonight from Junction. Those of you that are on my page are used to seeing me live. Those of you who are tuning in on Junction's page, this is something new that we're trying to do. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We're going to start doing lives, teaching different things, showing you stuff around the shop. But tonight, I'm with JJ Bean, and I'm actually the Dixie Belle dealer here, so you can see the display behind me. I want everybody to see the different colors that we do offer. And tonight we're going to paint these cute gourds. Look at these. How cute is this? We're going to paint them, as well as we are going to use our redesign transfers. We are a Prima dealer as well, so we have our transfers. We have molds. We won't be using the molds tonight, but we're definitely going to be using the transfers. And then we're also going to be using some cute little would you bend. So a little thing about the would you bend. Would you bend is actually real wood. So what happens is it's compressed and it comes into these little designs, and they are bendable, they are moldable, and we are going to actually use this one to put these on here. We're going to paint that a little bit, do some cool stuff. But as you come on, please make sure you say hi. Let us know where you're watching from. I know on my page I get people from all over the United States, and I'd love to see who's coming in on Junction's page as well. So say hi, let us know where you're from, and how your day was today, because it's stinking hot out there. I don't know about you guys, but I felt like I was going to melt today. All right, so we're going to start with blending up on this one first, okay? So this is the larger gourd. I'm going to be blending on this one, and then we're going to apply the transfer. The colors that I'm going to use tonight is our Daisy, and then we have our Rebel Yellow and our Farmhouse Green. Hey, Lynn, how you doing? So we have our Farmhouse Green. So that's what we're going to blend up with and keep going. So let's start with our first one. Hey, Joanne, and I see Junction's on with us. Hi, Junction. All right. So let's start right now with our Daisy. I'm going to try and keep this little hanging piece out of there. So one of the things that's important when you're painting with any type of chalk paints is you want to have your mister, especially when you're blending, even better on the second coat, because it just smooths it out. It makes it really, really good. So let's keep going with this. Oh, let me see here. Joanne. Hey, Joanne, you're in Mason. I didn't know you lived in Mason. That's awesome. All right, let's start with the Daisy. So before I start painting, I always take a mister and I dampen my brush. This brush right here is one of the Dixie Belle Minis, which we don't have in stock, but what we do have is our Chalk Pro brushes. These work awesome, and they're a quarter of the price. So when you come into the store, you do find these here. I'm going to be using a little bit of both tonight so that you know. All right, let's start with the Daisy. All right, so the Daisy is a bright yellow. It's a beautiful yellow. I'm going to start through the bottom here, and I'm not going to go all the way through the bottom because, well, I lied. I am. I want to go and put my first coat on. We're not going to blend with the first coat. We're going to blend with the second coat. And these are really fun because look at how you can hold them. So Pam, who is the owner of Junction, and Sue, who has Sue's Vinyl Designs and Solo Flowers, they went to Pennsylvania on a little shopping trip. Yay, one of my favorite things to do. And they brought me back these gourds because they said they knew I could do something fun with them. And boy, they weren't kidding. I'm really excited about this. We're thinking, what would you think if we had a class here on this? I'd like to hear everybody's comments on that. It'd be nice to hear your comments on what you think about a class. All right, so that's our first coat. You see that with the Daisy. I'm actually going to switch brushes, and I'm going to use the Rebel Yellow. Now, I did paint the bottom, so I want it to dry really quick. What I have right here is my heat gun. I'm just going to throw that around the bottom real quick so I can do some stuff on here. David, wow, that's a blast in the past. So David LaVoy is on here, who is one of my best customers from when I had Drinkable Arts, and I would love to paint with you again, David. Joanne, you too. That would be awesome to be able to paint. All right, so if you need your paint to dry fast, you can use a heat gun or you can use a blow dryer. I chose heat gun. It's still tacky, but I'm not that worried about it because it's going to be on the bottom. All right, so the next color we're going to use is called Rebel Yellow. So Rebel Yellow is a like a pale yellow, and it'll just blend up really nice with this. So we're gonna go with the pale yellow. All right. Which brush do I want to use? Let's do this brush. Again, I'm going to mist it because I want to have it just damp. So somebody asked me one time, why do you dampen your brushes? So those of you who know me know that I've been painting for a very long time, and I used to own a glassware company that we painted on glassware, and I used to tell people then to dampen your brushes. The reason we dampen our brushes is because when the brush is damp, it helps the paint load onto the brush. Just think about it. If you're trying to put something onto a dry brush that's wet, it kind of can clump up everything else, but when it's damp like this, it lets it accept it onto the brush so that you can actually paint. So I do always suggest that you dampen your brushes no matter what type of paint you're using. If you're using an enamel paint, which by the way, that's what you use to paint on glasses, and we are going to be having a glassware painting event here. It's on August 13th. So if you are interested in joining that, please contact us through our webpage or get a hold of Junction. But with enamel paints, you're going to wet your brush, but then you're going to make sure it's dry because you don't want to stop the integrity of the enamel paints. Now, typically, I wait to the second coat to blend, but with this color being so close, can you guys see how I'm doing this? I'm just going to blend in between the two so that it gives that graduated look. You see that? Oh, these are such pretty colors. So we got some ladies here that have booths here and have their furniture here, the girls from My Junk Trunk, and they helped me with all of these colors tonight. And Pam, we kind of decided because I couldn't decide what colors to use tonight. I was torn. All right, so that's our next color. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that awesome? I'm going to put this aside. What I am going to do so that it doesn't dry up on me, I am going to spray it so that we can have it sprayed and have it here. I just have to tell you, I'm at the table here and I look out and there's somebody walking the parking lot and they could see me and they like waved hi, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. All right, the last one we're going to use on this is Farmhouse Green. This is like a very pale, like trying to give you the best description of this green. It's almost like a super light sage with maybe a tiny bit of a line to it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Hey, Cheryl, how you doing? Shelly. Oh my gosh, Shelly, you're in England watching. I know where you are. So those of you guys who know me know that my stepson is autistic, and he is absolutely fascinated with mailing. And Shelly lives in England and has been nice enough to become a pen pal with him. He's been saying different things, sending her things, and it's been really nice because she's been going back and forth with him. And he loves it, absolutely loves it. And Sue, oh, Sue. Hey, girl. Sue is the one I told you about with Sue Solo Flowers. She's one of the people that got me these lovely, lovely things. She's actually one of the booth people here as well, so make sure you come in and check out her space as well. See, look at that green. So from there, I think it kind of gives you guys like a white look, but it's really not. It's like a real pale, like sherbet. That's the color I wanted to say. It's like a sherbet green. It's really pretty. So that's what we're going to do for this last color on here. This first coat anyways. And this dries so fast. I don't know if you guys can say if you've ever used this before. Anybody here that's ever used any of our Dixie Belle paints, throw some comments in there for me. Tell me what you think of them, what colors you've used, what you've used them on, because as you can see, Dixie Belle paints are not just for furniture. Dixie Belle paints can be used on all different types of items. You can use them on glass. You can use it on metal. You can use it on laminate, by the way. I went over that last night on my live. So with laminate, or glass or metal, you do treat it with something that we call Slick Stick. And it is an adhesion primer that allows you to be able to paint on something that is not wood. And then Shelly, let me see, Shelly said. She sent him something. Shelly, it hasn't come in yet, but I actually had somebody from Tanzania sent him something, and it was a month ago, and he literally just got it yesterday. So I think that mail's just running a little slow because of everything going on right now. You know, everybody's is. Sue just posted she's been using so much buttercream. She's my buttercream girl. She loves her buttercream. All right, so that is the first coat of our blend up. Look how cute that is. All right, so we're gonna put this one aside and we're gonna start working on our second one. I just wanna spray this so it does not, you wanna wet them down. The other thing I do, just so you know, if you're working and you wanna keep using the same brush, you can stick them in baggies. You can wrap them in saran wrap so you don't have to worry about cleaning your brush in between different things. I am actually, this one was used last, the first, and I didn't spray it. So I'm gonna actually stick this one in a baggie so that it stays nice and moist for me. Moist, does everybody else hate that word? All right, so we're gonna put that in there. All right, so what we're gonna be using with these woodgie bends is we're gonna make a design on here using all these cute flowers. Look at how cute those are. I'm not sure exactly yet how we're gonna put them on. We're gonna just throw it by the hip. What do you think about that? All right, so Junction has used sawmill gravy, caviar, and driftwood are her faves. So my favorites, I like all the funky stuff. So my favorites have been like Stormy Seas, which we're going to use. I love the daisy. I love the bright colors. And I tend to use a lot of the blues and greens and yellows and I don't know, everything. I kind of use it all. All right, so the way that woodgie bend works is we're gonna actually heat this up. I do have my heat gun with me and I'm trying to get it so where you guys can see what I'm doing. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I'm praying you can. I'm trying to push it back here. This is my heat gun and this is literally an embossing gun. You just use you can use a regular heat gun. I had somebody ask before if you can use a blow dryer. You can. I will tell you that it will tend to take a lot longer to heat up. I also use, you can't see because it's out of the screenshot over here, but I do have an electric griddle that I use at times, and I'll let it heat up before we go to use it so that it makes it even more pliable. Because you want it pliable, you want to be able to bend it and do different things with it. So this thing's already bending. In a second, I'll kind of show you guys. Hey, Sandy, how you doing? All right, so we got our first one. And you see I heated that up and now look at this thing. Look at it, it's bending. Can you see how it bends? That's why it's called woodgie bend. So what happens is it makes it bendable for you to be able to go ahead and put it on. Now, I paint on my glue. So I use Type-On Quickset. I've used Gorilla Glue and I will tell you the Type-On Quickset tends to work as much. Can you see how much I put on there? These are so stinking cute. So we're going to bend that. Just see how it just molded right to that. Do you guys see how that molds right to it? And it goes through the curve. Let me see if I can show you sideways so you can see the curve. See that? And the Type-On Quickset will actually make it sit and set very quickly. All right, so that's our first one. I'm going to leave this so that you guys can see it. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera down a little bit just so you guys can see a little bit more. And I apologize for my hand being in the way. There we go. How's that? That's better. Now you guys can see a little bit more. Sue said, will you be also doing something with Prima molds in a future tutorial? Yes. So one of the things is I am now a content creator as well for Prima. So I am working on a piece right now that I am going to do some molds, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do some molds. We're going to do resin pour molds as well as the molding materials for the molds. I personally like the resin molds because I think it's just my preference. You can use either one. My preference is the others. All right, I'm going to heat up some of these as well. Look how cute that stays on there. Like, on furniture, now this is just the floral ones. These come in like trims. They have corbels, accent pieces, a little bit of everything that you can use on your furniture. If any of you have actually watched some of my other lives, if you go back to my page, you can see all the lives that have been there in the past. I've done flower pots, which were really, really fun, definitely. Let me see. Stephanie, hi, Steph. How are you? Boy, these are heating up. I figure I'll try and answer some of these messages on here. I see people. All right, so when you're doing this, you need to keep your heat gun further away because otherwise what happens is you scorch your wood, which I'll show you in a second. I actually scorched this one. So I'm a scorcher. You know, a scorcher. Hope you guys can hear me through this. All right. So this one is bendable already, but I don't know if you guys can see where I scorched it a little bit. It doesn't matter because I'm actually going to be painting these. We're actually going to do a little thing with them, but you just got to be careful about scorching them if you get your thing too close, because they will, like I said, scorch. I just like saying that word scorch, I think. Scorch, scorch, scorch. All right. So let's do a little roll call. Who is here on the JJ Bean page and who is here on the Junction page? Let me hear some roll call about where you guys are kind of tuning in from. Look how cute. Isn't that adorable? So we're going to do a little bit of here. I've got them all bunched in. Whoops. I like to do them in threes. They say that when you do stuff in threes, that's the way it should go. Then from here, part of me doesn't want to add anymore. Like, I think that might be it. Let me see. Or do I want to add? Sometimes simple is the best, right? Simple is the best. All right, so I'm getting some roll calls in here. So while we're waiting for this to dry a little bit, let me see what our roll call is. Junction page. And then we're somewhere on the JJ Bean page. Junction page, JJ Bean. Oh, it looks like it's kind of split across the board right now, right? All right, so while this is sitting, I don't think I'm going to add any more molds to this because I think this is one of those times where it might be simplest is best, right? So let's not add any more. Let's go back to this. So now we started our blending. It looks like it's dry, but it doesn't matter. It is a little wet here, but we're going to go ahead and put the second coat on and blend it in. Sandra, what is up, girlfriend? Sandra is actually one of our consigners here as well. She does beautiful furniture. She's on here. If you guys haven't made it into the Junction yet, boy, are you missing out. You guys really need to give us a shot. Check out what we have here is a little bit of everything. It's amazing. Lots of talented people, lots of people that are artisans. I'm just putting a tiny bit in here. I wanted you to see what we're doing here. And lots of artisans, lots of local people. We have 603 Apparel. We have Giggles and Grace. Now, you want to talk about some fun stuff that you got from Giggles and Grace? That's from MJ, and MJ is awesome with her fun stuff. Everybody tells me about my mugs are fun, but I kind of think her stuff from Giggles and Grace is just as fun. I already told you about my junk trunk because they've been here helping me with stuff. Then we have, I'm trying to not leave people out, but I feel like no matter what I do, Salt Box, and Joni's going to kill me because her name always gets me. But Joni McGarvey does an amazing section in the back, and she carries the Hollandaise. Probably going to ask somebody to help me with that one a little bit. But it has all the different spices and stuff. If you haven't come in to check them out, you should. All right, so we did our daisy. I'll start touching on some more people in a second. Let's go now with our Rebel Yellow second coat. So I have a little bit in here. One of the things that I want to do with this is I want to actually spray this. The reason you want to keep this moist when you're putting in your second coat for blending, not just blending, but any second coat, it gives you that smooth finish where you will not have any brush strokes. So when you're doing furniture or other stuff, you don't want brush strokes, right? You want it to be smooth. I want it to be smooth anyways. All right. Let's get this. So back to some of the people here. We have lots of different things going on. We do have some events on the books. We're slowly adding them. And they're always with social distancing as well. So be sure to check out our page for JJ Beans or either that or Junction. And you can find all of the stuff on there. I'm going to take this brush and I'm just going to slowly go across that area and just do a little blending. Can you see how I'm blending that? Just slowly blending those two colors together. All right. And can get this up and going. All right. So can you see how we blended those two colors in? There you go. Look how nice those blend. They're like perfect to go together. All right. We're going to go to our last color again, which is Farmhouse Green, but I'm going to call it Sherbet because it's definitely sherbet to me. All right. Again, spraying my Oh My Gourd. So we are definitely considering doing one of these as a class going in the fall. We have some great fall colors. Look at this one, it's terracotta. Can you imagine that with some different colors and maybe some fall transfers or maybe the would you bend on there? What do you think about that? That would make a great fall event. Maybe get somebody in here, do some social distancing painting together. What do you guys think about that? Have some little fun with safety. All right. So the great thing also about Dixie Belle is it's very forgiving. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I kind of throw my brush in every different direction. That's because it's a very forgiving paint. You can go in different directions. All right, I'm gonna now take my brush and blend in those colors right into here and blend that through. Blend my sherbet with my lemonade. How's that? It kind of looks like it, the way it blends up. All right, so if you guys can see how nice those colors blend up, look how pretty. That looks so nice. All right, I did notice I missed a spot over here with Daisy, so I'm actually going to go ahead and paint some more Daisy on there. All right, now I'm gonna put this aside while we start working on this second gourd. All right, I'm not gonna need these anymore. I'm gonna put them inside of my bag so that they don't dry out before I can get them washed. Typically, if you are using, you could put like similar colors together, but I typically use a different bag for each color. But I'm gonna put these together because it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be going ahead and taking them home to clean. So good color choice. Thanks, Sue. I had some help with that color choice, actually. I'd like to take all the credit, but the girls all here were definitely helpful for me, which was nice. All right, so the other thing, this was my brush that I did for my wood. I will water this so that it stays nice and wet so that when I get home or get done this live, I can go and clean out the wood glue so that it doesn't stick inside of my brush. I want to put these paints away because we're not going to need them anymore. All right. Put these up. I'm actually going to leave these on the table, and after I'll show you again the colors. All right, let's go back to this one. Remember, this is the one we did the would you bend on. Can you see that's already dried? Isn't that great? Look how fast that stuff dries and goes on. Aren't those adorable? What we're going to do is we're going to do more of a grunge look on this. So the first thing that we're going to do is, anybody that's worked with me before doing my stuff, this is Stormy Seas, which is this one right here. This is like a deep gray blue. It's like a slate blue with a little bit of gray to it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to actually do some somewhat distressing dark look on top of this would you bend with these. I'm going to show you the different techniques that you can get. These are my bottles, my FIFO bottles. I put my paint in these bottles typically because you saw me dipping my paints into these. It's really not a good idea because you can cross-contaminate your paints. I just didn't change them out for tonight. So unfortunately I didn't get them in. But I'm going to use a chip brush for this because we don't need anything spectacular. Typically when I work on my furniture, this is just a plain chip brush. We do have, oh, I haven't put them aside over there. We do have premium chip brushes that you can use. They're a different quality. They're heavier. And those are really nice to use as well. We keep them here. So if you're looking for good chip brushes that are more premium quality, these are kind of like, you can see the bristles. They're kind of like a throwaway quality. All right. So let's start with this. I am literally going to dab these. I more or less want to make sure my would you bend and then the surrounding areas. See that? Look at that color. Wow. Just love that color. Sorry guys, I kind of have to look at it real quick to make sure I get all the ins and outs of this piece because these flowers. And I use a chip brush because I want to be able to jam it in there and get all those pieces done, but I don't want to ruin my good brushes. So that's why I use a chip brush when I'm doing this type of work on just this part. Then we'll go to my good brushes. So we're going to go ahead and I don't know if you guys can hear the ladies next here. They're all setting up their spaces in here, trying to get ready for, we're open on Wednesday and we're getting lots of new stuff in here. Just see some of the furniture they just brought in. It's like to die for. You guys will have to check it out on Wednesday. We open up at noon on Wednesday, noon to 6. Noon to 6 on Wednesday, noon to 6 on Thursday, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 4. All right, so this is what I did there, but I'm not just gonna stop there, okay? Because I think I wanna do just a little bit of, see how I'm doing that? It's just giving me a little bit of grunginess. So then when I paint with my other color, kind of helps show through. Do you see that? Just randomly throwing stuff everywhere. All right. Sue, when are you going live? Shelly's calling you out, Sue. All right, so I'm going to actually use my heat gun because I really want to dry this as much as possible. Typically, I would let this dry on its own, but I'm trying to kind of get through tonight and get you guys finished. We don't want to be on here and use up your whole night, right? So it's been like steaming hot lately, hasn't it? So I was in Florida for 21 years. Matter of fact, I saw a couple friends from Florida on here. And I thought when I moved from Florida, I wouldn't have the steaming heat, and followed me. Followed me. So a little bit more about Dixie Belle products. So before I came here tonight, I did clean these down. So whenever you're painting anything, you want to clean it and get all the grease or grime or anything else that's on it off of it. It's really important that you're not painting over it, including it into what you're doing. So I cleaned it down actually with some White Lightning because I wanted to make sure that it was clean. So White Lightning is a powder that we have. I'm going to actually do this at the same time while we chat. It's a powder that we have, and you mix it with water, and it goes really, really far. But the cleaning properties on it are insane. And it's also a deglosser as well. I use like a scouring pad, and I'll scrub my furniture and other stuff down with it. And then after I use it, I typically, not typically, you have to wash it down with some hot water. You want to make sure that you get the residue of it off, because what happens is it is a chemical and it is a cleaner. If it stays on, your paint will not stick, and you don't want your paint not to stick, right? It's kind of important that your paint sticks to your stuff. Now, if this had been a shiny piece of something, what I would be doing is I would use what's called Slick Stick. So Slick Stick is, like I said before, an adhesion primer. Now, say this was a dark wood that was like a raw wood or a dark wood or something. I would use a primer that, only if I'm using light colors, by the way, I would use a primer called Boss. And Boss is a great primer because what happens is it blocks odors, it blocks stains, and at least you get your stuff done without all your stuff getting ruined. And if you're using a light color, you definitely want to prime. Even if you're not using Boss, you want to use something else, because what happens is the tannins will come through, and if the tannins come through, that's going to be... All right, so this is actually one of our Chalk Pro brushes. This is one of my favorites. Actually, this is our 2-inch slanted, and I'm going to use this. This is very comparable to the Dixie Belle Mini, which unfortunately Dixie Belle's sold out on other brushes right now, so I'm glad that we have these. So we do a Chalk Pros as well in, and again, I'm going to wet it. We're going to use the cotton on this. I'm going to wet it a little bit. This is my cotton paint. Cotton is basically an Arctic white. We have all different whites, but this is an Arctic white. All right, says, I'm going to have to tune back to watch the rest. Oh, Sandra, thanks for at least checking in with us. All right, so I want you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to you see how I'm doing that around the flowers? So I'm actually going to do around the flowers first, because I kind of want to accent and be able to paint the rest without worrying. Do you guys see how that comes out and it leaves it nice and detailed? Like, that's crazy good, right? I love it. All right, let's go and paint some more, and then I'll show you what we're going to do to get that distressed blue looking on the rest of the stuff here. So what else you guys got going on in this world? Who's working on projects? I want to know. I know everybody's got different projects going on because they've been stuck in their houses. Some people are back out at it. Some people are not. I think this has been such a new world for everybody. What kind of projects you're working on? Tell me what you got going on. I love to hear different things. I don't know if you guys can see this horrible mess that I'm making. The one thing you don't want to do is paint as messy as me, because you would think after all these years of painting, I would not be such a messy painter, but I am. By the time I leave tonight, these will be covered, this whole front of me. I should have worn my apron. All right. Let's see here. And then we're going to keep going over it. So did you guys know that we have take and makes here too? So say you can't make it to one of our events, but you want some fun projects. We do have some take and makes here. I am going to actually be working on some more take and makes. Right now we have some wood ones, but I am going to be adding a glass take and make where you'll have all of the stuff that you need to paint your own glass, as well with all the instructions, the paints, all that. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of glass ideas in my repertoire from doing it for so long. It's actually one of the things I do think I'm really good at. So I'll be having those here. Stay tuned for those to come in probably this week. And then we also have some wood stuff. We have birdhouses. We have mailboxes. We have different things. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh, I love that. All right. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. So David said, you're painting cigar boxes? That actually sounds really fun. I'd like to see what you're doing on them. Share them with us after, on my page at least. Junctions. I know we all love to see stuff like that. Cigar boxes. Sue said, I'm watching tutorials on vacation. Yeah, so Sue's on vacation right now. And last night she watched my live and then sent me a picture of me on her big screen because she actually casted it to a big screen. It was kind of exciting and creepy at the same time, I think. All right, so while this dries, we're going to go ahead and work on some transfers. So I know that I told you, let me clean this up first because I have paint all over the place over here because I am a hot mess. All right, so we're going to be using this transfer, which is the Lush Floral. This is beautiful. I've used this on furniture before as well. We do carry transfers. They're over here to my, you can see them in the picture. I wasn't sure. We do carry transfers. We will be carrying more. They're coming out with some new releases this month. So I'm hoping to be able to get some really cute ones in here, some new ones, and I'll be sharing them with you guys, little snippets and sneak peeks when they announce them to us. And I'll have them ready for you guys. All right. So I previously cut out pieces because the good thing about our transfers is some of them are solid pieces that you can't cut, but a lot of them are. Like this one comes like this, if you can see this. So what I did is I actually cut some of those flowers out and some of those pieces because, I mean, look at this thing. Look how pretty that is. And this one, ooh, girl, I'm loving it. So I cut out some of these as well as leaves so that they were already cut for us to work on. All right, so when your transfers come, they're going to come attached to a backing, just like you see here. And then they have a stick. The stick is actually your rubbing stick. They do have a transfer tool. They are sold out, but I'm going to be getting more in. And as soon as I have them in, I'll let everybody know. These work great as well. Well, let's go ahead and start working on this transfer and see what we can get completed with this beauty right here. All right, let's start with, my biggest thing is I always try to figure out where am I going to put this thing? Where do I want my stuff on here? So I think that the first one, as you can see, when you take them, they just slide right off that backing. And then you're just going to place them where you want them. I think I want this one to kind of go up. Now, because of the shape of this, I'm going to do only a portion of this at a time because I want it to be able to wrap around it. And there's just so much that it turns that I don't want to like rip it. So you're just going to rub it on just like this. And as you rub it, it'll release from that backing. Of course, I would pick like the largest transfer that we have to do this, right, on a curve. All right. Do you guys see how that, I don't know if you guys can see how as I rub, it releases. So it releases for you to be able to pull it up. And let me see if I can do it this way. Part of this is not dry, this paint. I didn't realize it. Give me just a second, guys. I want to just hit this with my heat gun so that I'm not rubbing into wet paint. Has anybody out there used our transfers? I'd be curious to see which ones people have used, and not just ours, any transfers. I mean, transfers are fun. There's several companies out there. We do carry Prima, but there are other companies out there as well. All right, I'm actually going to use my tool because I'm actually having trouble with that scraper for some reason. All right. Now, I hope you guys don't mind, but I literally need to turn this to myself in order to get through this because of the way that it's shaped. So I prefer the transfer tool if I have it available, only because it's a hard plastic and it helps me to. All right, so what we're going to be learning tonight is why you need to make sure your paint is dry before you do a transfer. So this transfer did not want to stick in this part, and I'm going to show you real quick, and I rubbed the paint off as well. So you're going to want to make sure, you see how that happened? That's because my paint wasn't dry. So you definitely want to make sure your paint is dry before you start doing your transfer rubbing, okay? Or what's going to happen is just what you just saw. So let me get this fixed on here. I do see some comments coming up, and I apologize. I just want to concentrate on this real quick, and then as soon as I stop, I can answer all those comments. Oh, I helped with the breast cancer dressing. If we can do it. Oh. Pamela Smith. I have used them and love them. Put one on a dresser. Yes, I love them on furniture. So they're intended initially for furniture, but people use them on other things as well. I've used them on so many different items. And as you can see, I'm using them on a gourd. Now, again, like I said, I believe that if I had waited, I don't believe, I know that if the paint had been dry a little bit more, probably be going on a lot faster. But because the paint is wet, kind of giving me a little bit of an issue. Now, one of the things that I will do when I'm doing this is I tend to trim the transfer sheet, which is this clear backing that it comes on. I will trim that off as I start putting it on so that it makes it easier for me, especially on a rounded piece, to be able to push and do things that I need to do. I'm going to actually stick a couple things in here. All right. So now that I've cut that, it's easier for me to go around and get the other pieces on. Can you hear it coming off of the backing? It's like, hey, lady, what you doing over there? All right, let's see. All right, so while I'm doing this, I'd love to, Karen Lapine wanted to do a craft project. Nice, you guys want to do craft projects together. We have lots of craft stuff here for you. While I'm doing this, and I can't really look at the thing right this moment, I'd love to hear from you guys what it would be a suggested of an event that you would love to see us do here, like a crafting event, something that we're going to teach you guys. What is something you'd love to learn? We have lots of talented people here that would love to be able to teach. So give us some ideas. Let us know. What do you want to see? What do you want to learn? What do you want a part of? We have events coming up. Any special event you'd love to see? All right. So here is the first one. Look how cute that is. I love it. All right. So we got one down. Let's go to the next one. We're going to use a smaller one so I don't have to struggle with it as much, right? So this one, I'm actually going to use this one. It's probably going to go right here. What do you think about that? So we have done, in the past, we've done a sign event. We have done a wood heart event. That was awesome, the palette event, where you painted your own wood heart palettes. They were palettes that were made into hearts. We have done a This Is Us event sign, which was really cute. Stu taught that on. And then we have a wine glass one coming up. We have had a wine carrier stuff, which actually we have a bunch of wine carriers as the Taken makes. So, and they come with the stuff that you need. If you're looking for a cute little fun project for the girls and you can't go out somewhere, you're just not comfortable with that yet, which we get, come on in and get some supplies and have a nice little Zoom painting night. Oh, I just noticed Joanne's on. So I talked about Drinkable Arts. Joanne was my right-hand lady for Drinkable Arts. She helped me run Drinkable Arts, and she is on tonight. Hello, hello, hello. So, see, this one's going on my... So stop my phone. Here we go. We're back on. We're back on and ready to rock and roll. All right. And then this one is the last of this. Now, when you put transfers on, look how cute that is. When you put transfers on, you want to burnish them. I use my fingers and I go over them because you want to get all these edges so they don't lift up, okay? The other thing you can do is you can take a super fine. This is actually our rad pads. They're like a foldable thing, and you can just lightly burnish the edges just to make sure there's nothing sticking up. So when you go to seal them, you don't want your stuff to come up, right? You want it to all stay exactly where it's supposed to stay. All right. All right, so this is the start of this one. Now, this one's still drying, so let's do just one more transfer on here before we pop back to our other one and finish what we got to do here. I think I'd like to put a few of these leaves on. What do you think? Maybe a leaf here. Oh, that would look really cute, like up in this area. Just something to kind of accent it. Would look really, really, really nice. So I'm a really messy, as you can see, worker and painter. You should see what my workshop looks like. My husband goes nuts when he sees my workshop because I'm such a messy painter. But I get it done. That's the way I tell him. I tell him, creativity takes mess, man. Creativity is messy. If I stay organized, I can't be creative. Who else has a messy area when they work? Okay, here we go. See, that one went on way easier. Can you see how that came on? It just accented it just enough. Look how cute that is. All right, do you think we should add some to the back? Let me hear from you guys. What do you guys think? You think we should add some to the back and kind of help it along? I'm actually going to add one up this way to kind of even it out a little bit. Should we add some around the back, around the top? What do you think? Before we head on to our next project, finish up our last project, I mean, with the woodgie bend. So these are fairly easy to use. Yes. Add. Oh, Sue wants us to add. So these are fairly easy to use. Don't be afraid of them. And the other thing is kind of stick them all different places. Mariana says, yes, add more. All right. Well, we will add more. Love it. Yes, a little on the back. Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Mariana. This is what we have so far. You'll see that this one bubbled up a little bit. It's because of the curve and the paint was still wet. I don't know if you guys can see that. But look how pretty this tree. Oh, I keep going the wrong way on the camera. It's backwards from where I am. All right, so I'm going to flip this around and put one on the back. Let's see, what do I got available? So this one is really large, and I'm nervous about putting it on because of how large it is around this back. But you know what? Nothing ever got done with fear, right? So let's give it a shot. Let's open up this one, and we're gonna put this, let's see here. I'm gonna put it more towards the bottom though, I think. So let's start with this right here. So I'm gonna stick this over here. It's going around the back. Can you guys hear that crunching? That's all of it coming off, which is perfect. That's what we want it to do. We want it to come off of that clear transfer, and you can see it coming off because it'll actually show like a cloudiness of the transfer that it's come off. Cheryl said I'm late for the party. That's okay, Cheryl. There's going to be people that can't make it that are going to watch it on replay. As a matter of fact, if later you are watching this on replay, please put hashtag replay so that we know people are still watching our videos even after we've been on. Kind of helps us know where our reach is and what we need to keep doing. So, all right, I'm going to trim this transfer back, and I'll show you how I trimmed it back. Can you see how I'm trimming that? Just so that I have the ability to go around those edges a little bit more. This is such a pretty transfer. It's like the purples are so bright on it. Have any of you ever painted with the purple paints from Dixie Belle? There's an aubergine and an amethyst. Oh my gosh. So the great color is aubergine mixed with a little bit of muscadine wine, and it gives you like this deep plum. One of my favorite colors. I did a vanity in it. If any of you guys ever saw the vanity, it was a purple flowered vanity. As a matter of fact, it was awesome because a friend of mine wound up buying it from me. She fell in love with it, so I got to keep it like close, which was nice, super nice. Another transfer that is a popular transfer, and unfortunately they're sold out, but I do have some hopefully coming on back order, is our sunflower transfer. Some of you have seen the pieces that I've been doing with the sunflowers. I promise you I'm trying to get some of them in. They've just been on back order, and it's been really, really tough. But as soon as they come in, they will be getting them to me. I guess everybody loves sunflowers, right? Who else loves sunflowers? All right. So this one is going on with a little bit of a crackle, meaning because I didn't have it lined up right. So I'm going to show you guys that in a minute. But listen, if your transfer doesn't go on perfect, it's okay. What you do is you work with it. So sometimes things don't always go the way they're planned. I can attest to that. But what you do is you take it and you go with it and you make it better. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to distress this one after, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So it gives that distressed look with it. Let me see here. Let's pull this up. Pull this. This. All right, we're almost done. And then I will show you guys the distress look that this one's doing. And it's because of the roundness and the size of this. Sometimes they'll split on you like that. But like I said, you never give into it. You just make it your own. So this one is definitely got that distress look. So can you see what I mean? Like it's split in areas, so it kind of shows through on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to actually sand on the edges to bring out that distress. And actually through the center here, I noticed that we have a little bit of a bubble up. So I've had people tell me, oh, you do so good with the transfers. They look perfect on your pieces. Guess what? I skirt my transfers all the time. All the time. Just people don't know because I go with it. So never just give into it. Just go with it. All right. So this is what we got going on. I am going to do a couple more leaves on here, but then we're going to, well, actually, look at this little piece. But then we're going to jump back over to what we were doing before and get our other piece going. Let me see. Do I want to do that or do I want to do this one? I think I'll do the larger one. There we go. So this is the next piece that I'm going to put on. It's all part of that transfer that I cut up. See me throw. I'm just gonna throw my stuff to the side. I even put like a little trash thing under here, and I haven't used it once tonight. I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess. All right, so FYI, this thing will be on display here. So anybody that was watching tonight, if you come into Junction, you can kind of see what we did, so that you kind of have an idea. Seeing it in person sometimes is a little easier. All right, there we go. Look at how cute that is. I think it needs something right here, but I'm going to do that after. We're going to put this aside for now. And look, I got stuff everywhere. I'm a hot mess. All right, let's get back to this. So, as you can see as it's dry, see how cute that is? Except one thing with white is you always need at least a couple things. I feel better knowing that. They just call that a happy accident when it comes out in Indian color. Yeah, I agree. Sue said when it takes a mistake, you call it a happy accident. That's what I call it. Hey, Lucretia. Lucretia was another one that was involved with me with Drinkable Arts. Hey, girl. Yes, these are fun, and thank you for telling me it looks beautiful. I appreciate that. So I sprayed down. See, look at this. I made such a mess that I put my brush to the side. Here it is. I'm like, what did I do with my brush? All right, so again, this is our second coat, so I'm going to spray this down. I'm actually going to spray my gourd down a little bit, and I'm going to dip it in. Can you guys see how little I have on there? And I don't need a lot, but with white, anytime you paint with white, it's like one of the hardest colors to paint with. You most likely are going to have to do a couple different coats because it just requires it. The only time I've ever had white where I've only had to do more than, so sometimes I have to do like 3 coats. The only times that I typically can get away with just a couple coats is if it's been primed first. If I use the Boss primer or the Slick Stick, because I use the whites, it kind of gives it that white primer in the beginning first. Hey, Sherry, another girl. Boy, my girls from Drinkable Arts are all showing me here. Thanks, guys, for supporting me. All right, let's get this in here. Y'all know how creative I love to be. I'll tell you what, I was lucky enough to have a lot of creative, fun people that worked for me and did a lot of fun stuff with me. Jacqueline, you love it. Good. Hey, if you guys want to see more of these lives, and not just myself, other people on here teaching different things coming from the Junction, we want to keep doing lives, but we want to know what you guys want to see. We don't want to just kind of take a guess at it. What do you guys want from the Junction and from JJB? If you want me to keep doing them here, that's great. I'm still going to be doing my furniture lives. Look how cute that is. Oh my God, I love that. That looks adorable. I have so Pam's over there. I'm just going to show her real quick. Doesn't that look adorable? All right, so that is the Would You Bend, and we used the Stormy Seas first, and then we dry brushed on it, and we've done the cotton. All right, so I'm going to put this here so that you guys can look at that beautiness while it just sits and does its thing. And I'm just going to go over a couple more things with you guys. So all the products that we use tonight are all available here at Junction. And again, like I said, we would love to have a different events to teach you guys using more things, whether it be in person or online. If you guys would like to schedule an online party where we teach from here and you have your friends come to Junction, pick up the supplies that you need, and then we teach you through here, we're all for it. You just got to let somebody know. Reach out to Pam or Mary or myself over at Junction or Rhonda, and so one of us will get something scheduled with you so that somebody can help you guys just get your paint on, as I put it, get your creativeness on. Just let me know. So to recap, everything that you see is here at Junction. We are open on Wednesday. Look at my hands. You guys see that? We are open Wednesday at noon to 6. Thursday, noon to 6. We'll be open on Friday and Saturday from 10 to 4. Lots of different things. There's furniture. There's take-home crafts. There's all different types. So you have like contemporary looks. You have shabby chic. The farmhouse girls out in the front have like this amazing set of farmhouse look. Sue's got wood flowers that would blow your mind. When you look at them, they look like they are real flowers, but they're actually wood. It's insane. Have to check those out. We have our flagpole setups. We have holidays. Let me think here. Rhonda's got a cute little man section over there. She also has some clothing, some awesome clothing. And if you haven't seen Vintage Birch Designs, she's got some awesome furniture as well. And again, oh, and I can't forget one of our girls, Silly Jill. So Silly Jill, if you guys want to flip on the oval, Silly Jill is now here all the time. You can get her paints, which is the bungalow paints here. You can get fusion paints here. You can get a little bit of everything. And also to recap, we are having a glassware painting event. It's matter of fact, let me look at that glass for you. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to learn, but we may learn a different one as well. Oh, actually, my little assistant's bringing it over for me. Thank you, Pam. If you guys haven't met Pam, you'll have to come in and say hi to her. She's our owner. So these are the glasses I will be teaching. They're mermaid. If you ask my husband, this one looks like a trout. I think it looks like a mermaid that just has a little bit of just some fill on her flipper. Nothing wrong with that, right? All right, so we're going to be learning the mermaid. I did get asked tonight to possibly add a different design because not everybody is into mermaids. So we do have a sunflower glass. It's like a sunflower with like a deep blues and stuff like that we're going to add to this class. They are the 13th. It is $40 for 2 glasses, and it is here. We do have limited seating because of social distancing. We will be following all social distancing guidelines, and a mask will be required for the event. So that's what we have coming up soon. And again, if you guys want to do a private event that we do remotely, meaning you guys pick up all your stuff here. This one chunky mermaid. Sue just said she's one chunky mermaid. Just have events here. If you have an event that you want to do remotely, just let me know and we can get it scheduled. So Pam just handed me our list of events here for Junction. I just want to go over them with you guys real quick so you guys know what's going on. If you haven't been able to make it in, try and make it in. It's a lot of fun here, a lot of different things. So Thursday, August 20th. Oh, yeah. It's all coming up rosé. Do you guys like rosé wine? It's going to be here. It's complimentary rosé wine and appetizers served with respectful social distancing practices, store-wide sales, and door prizes. So that's from 6 to 8 on August 20th. We have our fall market coming up in September 12th to 13th. If you didn't make it last year for our fall market, it's insane. The whole store transforms into our fall stuff. Actually starts with our Halloween stuff. And then our actual fall fest is October 17th. And that's crazy because that's when everything becomes fall. Like you walk through here and it's like in the middle of it's craziness. All the oranges, the yellows, the reds, everything you see, fall colors. And then, of course, our holiday shop in December, which we'll touch on more of these as we do more lives. But right now, just mark on your calendars, August 20th for the Everything is Coming Up Rosé event. That's an awesome event to attend. And again, we will have respectful social distancing and masks are required for all of our events. And when you come in shopping, please. So if there's anything you guys have any questions on, as usual, my business grows and our business grows from you sharing our stuff with your friends. If you liked the video and you liked what you learned tonight, please share with your friends. You can find me on JJ Beans on Facebook, Pinterest, as well as on Instagram. And Junction is Shop Junction on Instagram and Junction 71 on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And as usual, stay safe and see you guys next time. Have a great night.